John Tester. John, thank you very much, old buddy, and Senator Moran, and thank you, as well as Takano and Washit is also here. Where are you? Where is everybody? There you go. Okay, you got four right across. Yeah, okay. I need glasses. When I look out, the only thing I see is Joe Manchin. Hey, Joe, how are you? God, I wish I had Joe's hair. All kidding aside, all friends, look, y'all did so much.
Cut the Social Security 2100 Act from Representative John Larson favors the latter option. It would raise the federal payroll tax rate by 6.2% for employers and would only raise taxes on employees making more than $400,000. The bill has gained some support, but is so far stalled in Congress. A big update, everybody, for Social Security and stimulus checks. Eligible people can start applying today for additional stimulus assistance, and there are several programs that have been created that are aimed to providing financial help to Americans during this time. Today, people in Connecticut were able to start applying for a tax rebate just for families. The rebate, which was created as part of the budget bill that the governor signed into law last month, provides taxpayers with a state tax rebate of up to $250 per child for a maximum of 3 children. Any Connecticut resident who claimed at least one dependent, 18 or younger, on their 2021 tax return may be eligible as well. And while not everyone was qualified to receive the rebate, the Department of Revenue Services estimated more than 300,000 households can meet eligibility. Those applicants may see the extra money relatively soon. The filer status income threshold is single to married filing separately $100,000 or less and head of households. The rebate is for middle-class families. However, those who have higher income rates may be eligible to receive a reduced rebate based on their income. The period to apply began this week and ends on July 31st. The Department of Revenue Services said eligible families should start to receive their rebates in late August, right before the start of the new school year. The rebate came as the Biden administration pushed inflation as a top priority. It recently announced proposals aimed at boosting the U.S. economy. However, some of the presidential plans will need support of Congress, which could be a challenge. Governor Lyman said, "We created the state tax rebate to give Connecticut families with children additional relief. The application period is now open, and I strongly urge all families who claimed at least one dependent child on their 2021 tax return to submit an application as soon as possible, so that this rebate can be sent to you with no delays." When asked about rising inflation, McConnell told reporters, "We're going to have to squeeze this inflation down and get past the problems created by the Democratic government." Fewer Americans applied for jobless aid last week, with the number of Americans collecting unemployment at historically low levels. The Labor Department reported that applications for unemployment benefits fell by 11,000 to 200,000 for the week ending May 28th. And first-time applications generally track the number of layoffs. The 4-week average for claims, which evens out some of the weekly volatility, dipped by 500 from the previous week to 206,000. The number of people collecting jobless benefits for the week ending May 21st from the previous week also fell, down to 1.3 million, the fewest since December 1969. Experts say that the government and American workers are enjoying historically strong job security 2 years after the crisis plunged the economy. Experts say that American workers Now, weekly applications for unemployment aid have been consistently below the pre-crisis level of 225,000 for most of 2022, even as the overall economy contracted in the first quarter and concerns over inflation persist.
About money for the IRS, thanks to a 1-2 punch from Republican budget cuts and lobbying from corporations and rich people who don't want to be audited, the IRS today is stuck with 1970s computers and staffing levels, unable to do its job and unable to audit wealthy tax cheats. That underfunding also causes honest, hardworking Americans a lot of grief. According to the IRS, the average American spends about 13 hours and $240 every year just to file their taxes. 13 hours, $240. And sure, some people have complicated taxes that take time. But for maybe about half of Americans, taxes could be as easy as looking at a form the IRS has already filled out, showing your W-2 and 1099 income, then using the standard deduction and common tax credits to calculate how much you owe or how big your refund will be. If you don't agree, check no, fill out your own form. If you do agree, check yes, and you are done. Easy peasy. But the IRS does not have that kind of easy peasy program. Instead, years ago, the IRS cut a deal to send taxpayers to companies like Intuit and H&R Block to figure out what they owe. And in return, these companies were supposed to make free tax filing for 70% of American taxpayers through the Free File program. Secretary Yellen, what percentage of taxpayers actually use Free File right now?
I believe that last year about 4%.
About 4%.
4.
That's right. So it was supposed to be 70%. Turns out it was 4%. And you know that is not an accident. These companies deliberately sabotaged the Free File program and steered people to products that they could charge for. Now, companies like Intuit and use misleading advertising, hid free products from Google search results, all so that taxpayers had to spend more money to figure out how much they owed. The Federal Trade Commission has now sued Intuit over its bogus advertising of free tax filing software, and last month the state attorneys general extracted a $141 million settlement from Intuit for these scams. Now, these swindles—
7 years following media stocks. Honestly, think about what Roku is. Roku is a platform, TV operating system that is built into devices and dongles as well, little sticks that you plug into TVs. And everybody wants to run on top of that TV operating system, whether it's Disney Plus or whether it's Netflix. But getting into that, actually owning the business, Netflix owning hardware and basically prioritizing one hardware, meaning themselves, over the thousands of devices that Netflix runs on, seems completely antithetical to the everything that Reed Hastings and Ted Sarandos have built over the last 20 years. So it's very hard to understand. Not to mention, Joe, as you know, Netflix's core business is not advertising, will never be advertising. Will a portion of the business now become advertising? 20%, maybe 25%. Anything is possible as they embark on adding an advertising tier. But remember, the core Netflix subscription is staying. They're going to add a lower price advertising tier to the subscription, the ad-free subscription tiers. And so it's always going to be a smaller portion of the business. And so to spend $20 billion, let's just say, to buy Roku, to make advertising this huge piece of the company would seem very, very out of character.
Why spend 20 when you could spend 100? I mean, would you be surprised why Roku employees might be drumming up some interest?
Look, Joe, it doesn't surprise me at all that if I'm a Roku employee, this first of all,